My name is Jane. I'm with the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center, and tonight our topic is the pyramid model, and we have two folks from SERC who are joining us. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that anybody who doesn't know who CPAC is, that I tell you a little bit about us. We are called the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center, but we call ourselves CPAC. Our mission and vision in the world for parents of kids with disabilities is that our philosophy is that parents make the best advocates for their children. And we are really an empowerment organization that's designed to teach families how to advocate, not to advocate on their behalf. That is really our role, is to educate, support, and empower Connecticut's diverse families of children and youth with any disability or chronic illnesses, ages birth to 26, and the professionals who serve them. And I know we have a mix of folks tonight, both parents and professionals, so welcome everyone. We do want to point out that we are not attorneys. We are not representing legal advice. And if people have very individualized questions about their child, they might want to think about privacy and discussion about things in a more global sense rather than about an individualized child. I know that we have some folks here who are willing to do some individualized conversations after the event, not tonight, but in the future. If you do have very specific questions, we're happy to try to take those personally. So welcome to Paquita and to Nitza from SERC. And I'm going to give them the floor to introduce themselves and get us started.
Okay. I'm really happy to be here. I'm Paquita Jarman-Smith. I hope you all can hear me. I'm a consultant at the State Education Resource Center and really happy to be working with our early childhood partner, CPAC, and the Connecticut Pyramid Consortium. So welcome everyone. We're looking forward to working with you tonight.
Hi, so my name is Nitza Diaz, and I'm also a consultant at SERC. And I am not part of the Pyramid Consortium. I feel left out, although I have been trained. Almost all of it, right, Paquita? Yeah. But anyways, I am a consultant. I work on family engagement and a lot of other things. I take when parents go around SPED and other things, I take those phone calls. It has been very quiet since 2020. Señora Marta, Violet, Marta, ¿necesitan traducción? Sí. Ok, si usted va al chat, can I have one moment? Because she couldn't understand. Si usted mira el chat, ahí va a haber un link, un enlace, y hágale clic, dice Stream Text, y póngalo en el website, en la barrita en Google, y le va a aparecer unas letras, ¿verdad? Ella lo puso ahí, y hágale clic, y cuando llegue ahí, va a decir que está conectada a CPAC, CPAC 2021, y al lado hay un botón que dice lenguaje y lo cambia a español, pero está usando la palabra en inglés, Spanish. ¿Me entendió? O se lo enseño, no sé cómo lo hago más fácil.
Vanessa did post that link in the chat too.
Yeah, okay.
And you may have just said that.
¿Lo encontró?
Sí lo encontré, pero ya le di, ¿de ahí qué le pongo?
Póngale Spanish. ¿Lo vio?
Sí.
Ok, lo que pasa es que está como que lento. Entonces, pero si ahora, bueno, está diciendo que yo estoy hablando español, ¿lo vio?
Ajá.
Pero va a estar un poquito más, se va a ver atrasado, como si estuviera un poquito más lento. ¿Está bien?
Ok.
Pero cuando yo estoy hablando, yo voy a usar los dos idiomas. No se apure.
Una pregunta, el correo, lo que pasa es que estoy en el teléfono y no alcanzo. ¿A nombre de quién viene el correo? Porque lo adicioné a mi calendario. para poder entrar de mi computadora desde
Oh.
ahí.
Yo creo que Jane, she's just asking, she's on the phone, link. She wants to know where the email comes from so that she can go to her computer and do it better. Where
With
the
what
email,
email comes?
the registration email with the link. Where is it coming from? You?
Oh, it comes from Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center.
Dice Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center. CPAC.
C-A-P.
No, CPAC.
C-P. Ya, solamente ahí tengo mi correo de inscripción, pero a mí me llegó otro con un link.
No, apriete el de inscripción y le va a volver a decir que si quiere entrar al meeting. ¿Está bien?
Not working.
She just found the registration link, not the one you get like a couple of hours before the meeting.
So if you guys would like, I can try to resend it. If she puts her email in chat, I can.
Marta, ponga su correo en el chat y Jane se lo va a volver a reenviar con el ID del Zoom.
Nitza, do I have the right screen up?
No. Ponga su email en el chat, señora Marta. Para que se... Paquita, when you go to your screen, I want you to, like, side note, when I do this in both languages, it's like my brain is divided in half. So Paquita, that's really what happens. There you go. Jane, señora Marta, ¿lo vio? Okay.
I sent her the link in a chat, so she just have to click and register.
She's already registered, but she wants to go into her computer.
Yeah, I'll work on that. If you guys want to go ahead and start, I will make sure she gets what she needs.
Okay.
Right, so we're going to get started with everyone here. And this is an introduction to the pyramid model. As Nitza mentioned, we both work in family engagement, and we're a part of the statewide family school partnership Network for Education grant. And we are really happy to be able to talk to you about some things that will help children who may have behavioral and social emotional needs. So we want you to be here with us, be engaged. We want you to know that we want this to be personal, so you can take the learning anywhere you want, but the stories that are personal, let's just keep them to this space. We're going to be talking about social and emotional development and how it just blossoms in the context of your family home and the relationships that you have to your child and children. We're also going to talk a little bit about how behavior communicates a message to us that we can learn and interpret and support our children. And then we're going to share some strategies and some resources with you that can help you in your home with your child. And please let me know when you want me to pause, and I will do that. So we're going to get started. Get in the mood for thinking about children, and we're here tonight. I'm going to share a video with you.
Sure, share the sound.
Thanks for the reminder. Okay, and you can see it okay? You see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
See.
When you were expecting and imagining life with your child, you were probably picturing moments like this.
You can hear?
And this.
See.
And probably not moments like this. Or this. But the fact is that these behaviors, while frustrating, are the natural and expected ways that children express feelings in the early years, especially intense or hard to manage feelings. Young children have very little self-control. The part of their brain that is responsible for self-control develops slowly, so toddlers are impulsive and act on their feelings. And when their behavior is out of control, it's a sign that they are unable to cope with the feelings they are experiencing. They need help. So what can you do? First and foremost, try to stay calm during moments when your toddler is defiant or having a tantrum. Take a few deep breaths, or even step away for a moment to pull yourself together. When your child is very upset or out of control, he needs you to be his rock. Your calm steadiness provides an anchor for his storm. Angry responses to challenging behavior only increase the overall intensity of the situation. This makes it less likely your child will learn how to manage strong feelings effectively. Indeed, research has found that harsh discipline can lead to children developing behaviors such as aggression, delinquency, or hyperactivity later in life. The good news is that the research also shows that the most effective way to help children learn to manage their emotions starts with showing empathy and compassion. Yes, you heard right. Let your child know you understand his feelings. Why? Because the feelings are not the problem. Think about it. What child wants to stop happily playing and leave the playground, or have their favorite people say goodnight and leave them at bedtime? It's what kids do with these feelings that can become challenging, such as throwing a tantrum and refusing to leave the playground. Name your child's feelings to show you understand where she's coming from. For example, acknowledging she's angry that it's time to stop playing and go home. But be clear about the rule. For example, that it's okay to be mad, but it's not okay to hit. If your child has a hard time accepting the limit, she may need time to get her anger or frustration out. Give her a safe space to calm down, and let her know that when she's done being upset, you can move on to something else. The more you react to the tantrum, the less likely it is that she will learn to soothe herself and cope with the limit. Once your child has calmed, reconnect by showing empathy and compassion for the difficult feelings he or she is trying to cope with. Learning to manage feelings and impulses starts in the first 3 years, but takes many, many more to master. It is a skill that emerges gradually between the ages of 2 and 4 and continues developing through early adulthood. In the first 3 years, the foundation for self-control is built through everyday interactions with you and other loved ones. What this means is that you matter a lot. With your understanding, guidance, and patience, there will be fewer moments like these, and many more moments like these.
So I love thinking about young children and just setting the stage that even when they have their meltdowns or their sad feelings, that we are there for them and that we're the rock that they lean on. How many of you been there in this with some of these examples you saw in the video?
Currently there, currently there.
Currently there. So I'd like to know how old some of your children are. If you've got toddlers and babies, give me a thumbs up or a wave. What about pre-K, kindergarten? Anybody?
Almost pre-K.
Gary, what age? Oh, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I'm a surrogate parent with the Connecticut State Department, so I have several preschoolers.
All right. Awesome.
Paquita, I just want to say I have a 31-year-old and I use pyramid model practices all the time. He has autism and intellectual disability, and the practices work very well because communication is an issue for him as well, and behavior is an issue for him as well. So it's a wonderful practice for all ages, as far as I'm concerned.
You're right. And we did see in that video that people are working on it in adulthood. I'm still working on it, and I'm a senior citizen. Nitza, anything?
No, I think that I agree with you. We are all working on it. We're a work in progress. So when we think about behavior, you know, that's one of the things, that relationship that you always talk about when working on our own and when working with our kids. Señora Marta, ¿usted está viendo los closed captions, los subtítulos? Ok. ¿Cuántos años tiene su hijo? 1. Okay. Go ahead, Paquita.
So the pyramid model is a public health model. It looks at how to promote positive behavior and interactions and what we can do to prevent children's challenging behavior. And then for children that need support and help, it gives you some tools in order to help with the tantrum, to help with the biting. And all of it's done naturally for children through stories, through songs, through teaching children about their feelings and how to express their feelings positively. We want you to know that this is typical development, as you saw in the video, and children just need to be in spaces where they can learn. And what you're looking at now is the diagram of the pyramid. It has 3 components: universal promotion of positive environment. So in your homes, all of the routines that you have, breakfast, bedtime, getting dressed, all of those routines are things that we do all the time to support our kids. They need prediction. And sometimes I'm going to move up to targeted social and emotional, which is called prevention. Sometimes we need to think about how we're going to lessen the opportunity for kids to feel unregulated or to feel as though things are falling apart for them. So we think about, well, maybe their room needs to be set up with a spot for all their toys, a place where they can get their own clothes, and you know, an open door, so that whenever they have a problem, they might need a night light. You are helping set the stage so the child can manage their feelings. When I move up this pyramid, there's kids that might have a lot of behaviors that need support outside of your home. Certainly, there's someone who will help you make a plan for the child. You can get services through the Connecticut Birth to 3. If your child has a disability, early childhood special ed, and the school district in your community. And even your pediatrician can help you. But what you should take away from this view is that every child needs nurturing, they need your caring, they need that positive environment. You can't just give a child the treatment, the social worker, and all those other things and neglect the love and care that you give as a parent. Nitza?
No, you said it all.
Any questions? So we really want each and every child to feel about to feel good about themselves, to understand that we are there as adults to help guide them and be supportive of them. And we have a definition for social and emotional development, especially when you're thinking about children birth to 5. We're only talking about the ability and capacity for that child to have close, secure relationships, to be able to express their emotions in a socially and culturally appropriate way. And so I've got a 5-year-old, and through our journey, even though we're on Facebook, I hope that if he's out there watching or his mom is watching, that they're okay, that we had a journey with the 5-year-old, social and emotionally. And it was really good that school worked with us. We were like a team together, helping him to learn those feelings. He didn't even have words to say things, but he just did, and he was a little guy. So he had to figure out how to use his body. So that meant we had to address some things like the biting. So those things come up. And when you have an environment and the care of your community and your family, kids get through it.
That's a great example, Paquita, because it reminded me that in some cultural groups and racial groups, we get overly stressed. Like you said it with a lot of patience, right? That you work through it through the biting, but we take it so personal as the parent, and we forget that feelings, the emotions that the child is experiences, because we think it's about our own reputation. So sometimes we have to kind of balance that, because it's not really about me, it's about my child. I might not like what he or she's doing, as a mom, but I need to be so intentional about this, like that is not about me.
That's really hard sometimes for families to disconnect from that. And we did a training recently where we were saying to the families, we don't want our children to have misbehaviors. We always say we'd rather be the one whose kid got bitten rather than the one who did the biting, right? Because then you don't have to deal with the aftermath except for a little wound. But it's hard for families not to feel ownership of that behavior. And so when they really can disconnect and say, I'm here to help. And one of the things Paquita said that was critical is he was a little guy and he didn't have the words yet. That's behavior is communicating his lack of language. And so as a family and a school, they responded to that by helping him learn the language and other ways to express that, I would assume, Paquita.
Yeah. And also being aware, like with my daughter, what I'm showing you now is that Connecticut has standards for early learning, birth through age 5, so that kids in learning environments can learn how to regulate themselves and learn how to use their words to express their feelings. So if you want more information about the standards, we can get that for you. But just a takeaway, when kids don't have the skills, we need to focus on supporting them and teaching them. You can work with your school, you can work with your family, extended family, community. Even something as simple as a cooking activity in the kitchen, that teaches kids a lot about regulation. They have to wait for you to stir and teach them how to stir. And then if you're going to bake something, they've got you set the timer, and then they're going to wait for that, so they can delay their gratification and understand time. And then you get that nice snuggle after you enjoyed the pancakes or whatever it was from your Nana, if you have a Nana, or big brother, whoever. Let's focus on supporting the skills. So one thing about behavior, as Jane mentioned, it tells us a message. When a child, like our grandchild, when he was biting, he was saying, hey, don't take this toy from me. I'm not finished playing with it yet. So we have to be detectives and kind of figure out what is the message, so that we can teach them a different way of saying, it's my turn. You know, so even with him, it was a gradual thing. I had a little book about a dog that bit and different things you can do if somebody takes a toy from you. It was a process. Any questions?
Do you want folks to unmute if they have questions? Would that be preferable?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, so you guys feel free to jump in anytime. I noticed that Violet shared a thought before about how difficult it is for families to separate. They personalize their child's
Yeah.
behavior. And
Yeah.
I think many of us can understand what she's feeling and how parents feel about that. It's hard to not.
And
But
they have so much love for you.
Yeah.
that-
Go ahead, Paquita.
So I'm not going to show you this clip because we talked a little bit about it. I want to get to, I really want to get to us having some conversation. And just a reminder, everybody, every child needs one person who's crazy about him. And when you're crazy about your child, which I know you are, you're going to go the extra mile to make sure that they know that you're going to walk them through whatever their concerns are and that you're there for them.
That's critical.
So, you know, when you look at a baby or you look at a toddler, you know, it's always in the context of the home. Here's a family. They're building nurturing and responsive relationships. They have fun together. There's a balance in time for them to play outdoors, have meal time, private time for themselves, playtime. Being responsive is what really helps our children to be regulated. When you don't have something that's predictable, sometimes that creates a little bit of tension within the child and their emotions might go high if they're not on their routine. So those are the things we want to look at, make sure that we're thinking about. So I would like to know, given our space here, what do you do in your home to build those nurturing relationships for children? And in order to do this, I'm going to stop sharing because we can talk in a calm, you know, we can do the John Boy squares. We can be the Waltons and just have a conversation about what do you do in your home to build those relationships with your child? What works?
Playing games together.
Oh, yeah. Is there any favorite games you play?
Yes, Uno.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big Uno competition here.
We have Candyland. I cannot believe that the 5-year-old beats the senior citizens in Candyland all the time.
But it's
Anybody
nice,
else?
predictable family time, right? It's time that the kids have that predictability that you're talking about. They know what Candyland time is going to look like.
Oh, yeah.
We play Candyland too, and Cheerio.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but before that, we do rock, paper, scissors because she always beat me. And Matias and I and Emmanuel play Monopoly all the time.
Anybody do anything else? I see a lot of families at the beach and, you know, in parks.
Ride bikes together sometimes.
Yeah, all of that, all of that. And that's going to give your child the opportunity, move in your bodies. Do not punish your child for whatever by taking away their outdoor time, their playtime. They need that. Think of a way that you can, you know, maybe say, well, let's make something. You seem a little bit frustrated, or you start using those vocabulary words. You're a little bit sad. Do you want to play with my Senate Play-Doh tonight? And that'll perk you up. Feed into whatever your child's, what excites them. Do they like Legos or whatever? Just kind of help them navigate their mood.
You know what we did, Paquita, at bedtime was always a difficult time for us. And so we found really establishing a very predictable bedtime with a lot of snuggling and reading. So we'd have to do pajamas, you have to brush your teeth, all the stuff that comes with bedtime. But it was rewarded with a lot of reading and time in bed together before bedtime, so that it was kind of tempered by, you know, like, I don't want to quit everything I'm doing. I don't want to do something and give up my, like you said, you don't want to separate from the person you want to be with. But they got a lot of mom time before that happened, and they were generally ready to go to sleep because they could count on that time before bedtime. And it really changed. And I have to say, Birth to Three was the reason we learned how to do this. But it really required a very predictable, you know, we would say the same words and we would anticipate. Reading changed all the time, but it was a really close time, and physical too, in the sense that you've got that warmth and nurturing time.
I want to show you something that that can work for all age kids, even grown-ups.
Mhm.
So can you see the first and then?
No, but you go to display settings and switch it around. Switch the there. Switch your there.
Okay.
There you go.
So another way to really break down, if you see a child, you know, that's just really needs a lot of direction, you know, and a routine, you can always take a manila folder. I've known people that will just cut out a cereal box and flip it on the inside, and then you put first on one side, then on the other side, and then you put a picture of what they get to do first. So this child has to get dressed first and then eat breakfast. Another child might have to eat their dinner first and then they play. Now, eating dinner first and playing, that was a game changer for us, because the little guys, they want to play. They want to play. But when they see the first and then, and you use those words, they learn that routine. Any questions or thought? Anybody think they might want to try that one? It's easy to make. You can even use your own pictures. You could even take out your phones, and you can say first, if you have, take a picture of your child, get it set up. First, it's dinner time. You show the picture of the dinner time, and then you show the picture of them playing. That's next. So you can use this any way that works for you and your family.
And I think if I'm understanding you correctly, that then is usually the thing that they are looking for.
Yep. Yep. It could be. Once you get that routine with them, it'll go away. And my goodness, with the dinner time, that was the biggest challenge. Think about the biggest challenge when you do your first and then. So if dinner time's the big challenge or bedtime's the big challenge, think about ways that, you know, you can get them to do what you need them to do. If they need to be in their pajamas, okay, you get in your pajamas, then you get the snuggly teddy bear or whatever, or your favorite book. There's also a lot of activities that you can do with children on the websites that I'm going to put the link in the chat, and Jane, if you can upload this on your website. There is a website that has all kinds of things that you can read. It's in multiple languages. You can help kids learn how to use their emotions. If there's a problem with a child, you know, sharing, taking turns, they have all kinds of resources. that you can use on the website. I absolutely love this tool called the Backpack Connection. It is so cool. You can just pick a topic. So try this at home. Activities. Model the behavior while you're talking to your child. I really can't read it because it's really tiny. But you can practice a routine. If it's like getting in the car, you can practice that with your child. What do you do next? You get in there, you buckle up, those kinds of things. If you have rules in your home, you can teach those to your child too. So the rules might be that we wash our hands when we get home from school or before we eat dinner. We feed the dog every day. We clean up our room once a week. Whatever it is, you can post it on the refrigerator and build this little rule expectation thing with your kids so that they can follow along.
Paquita, how young do you think kids can be that start learning rules?
Oh, we even have some tools for toddlers, and you make it real simple. That's appropriate for a child. So a 2-year-old will learn that, and if you show pictures, they really will understand it, that we use our walking feet in the house. So focus on an expectation that you want to change or that you want your child to improve, or something that's going to keep them safe all the time. If it's before you open the door to go out your house, the rule is wait for an adult. So you show them a picture of adult holding a child's hand before you open that door. Babies, of course, they're just going to learn by watching you. And if you have older siblings, they can help you with the fun as well. Nitza, do you want to talk about the feeling charts? Nitza gave me a good example today. I'll let you tell your story.
Which ones of the many?
Well, what you said, you needed a feeling chart, remember?
I did need a feeling chart. So I love this chart because it does help me keep my mind centered, right? And I've done this with my kids as well. And so if, when we're working as an adult, as a grown-up, when we're working on curriculum, for example, sometimes it can be very political. This is my centering chart. So if I get upset, I do the grace, and this is how I feel today, so that it helps me not be impulsive, because I can say my feelings. And I also say that, I'm laughing because I also say that sometimes I need to say it in Spanish, like it's not coming out in English, but I look at the chart. ¿Verdad que sí, señora Marta? Se está riendo. She's laughing because she knows, like, I'm so angry, I don't know how to say it in English. So I look at the chart and then the English comes out. I love the chart. And Paquita, do you use it at home? I have it on my office. When we were inside, I put it on my wall. And this is good, like Matias, which he and I do it because we have very similar personalities. And Victoria, who's 4, she's 3, she's gonna be 4. I tell her, are you angry right now? Where are you? Where are you feeling? Because mommy's not mad at you, so, or she's scared, so she'll tell me.
Yeah, I use this. You can download these and you can cut them out and do like a matching game. You can turn them over and have the child match all of the 2 lonelies. So you'll have 2 of each feeling, and you don't have to do 6. You can start with 4 and work your way up, and it's a fun game. Yeah. And then think of all the vocabulary that children are learning. I'm embarrassed, I heard my grandson say one day, and I was shocked. I was like, you're embarrassed. But they're building these vocabularies and language, as well as learning about themselves. So what makes you embarrassed? And it's important because now he has that sense of pride that I need my privacy. I don't want to be embarrassed, so shut the bathroom door. Any questions, comments, anything in chat, Facebook?
I just had one thought when, for some of the folks that are here, they're also professionals. I'm wondering, like in the classroom, what would you do with this? How would you, same way or?
Oh, there's so many cool ways. I know teachers that will, it's a sign-in. You walk in the classroom door and all of the emotions are put on tongue depressors.
Mhm.
So each child has their own name where they could just move their tongue depressor to where how they feel in the morning. In virtual, the kids had it. They started their day off with identifying how they felt.
Wow, that's awesome.
Excited, thrilled. They could click that on their computers.
Any
So,
else? Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it comes in the circle, like a clock, so they can put it on a plate in the classroom.
Yep,
So
and
there's
you
a
can
lot
just-
of different ways to use this and teach the way that they're feeling. I think that I had heard for the programs in Connecticut that are doing Pyramid that there's a bigger chart with real faces coming out, human kids expressing these different emotions. So it seems like emotions, if there's more than this, the kids are really going to be expanding their vocabulary on how they're feeling.
Yes.
We know there's more emotions than 6, right? So
The Head Start Inclusion website has the human faces now. So if anybody wants those. So here is another strategies. It's called Tucker the Turtle. And Tucker is a real cool turtle because when he gets upset, he stops, he thinks. He counts to 3 and he tucks his head in his little shell and thinks. What should I do?
Hmm.
And it's a good way for them to think about, should I breathe? Should I ask an adult? And there's a cute book that goes along with this. And some of the teachers even have puppets.
And they can print out the book, right, Paquita?
Yes, they can.
Right.
I'm going to go to the one, the star. Sorry for going back. Nitza, you can talk about star breathing.
So star breathing is also very similar. So what Paquita would say with Tucker, right? But are you able to see what it says there? Or is it too small? Okay.
I can read it.
Okay, so it gives the kids, our children, the instructions of when they need to calm down, lower the stress level, right? It helps them with a breathing exercise. So can you read it from your side? Because there's some of them are a little small for me. So you do.
All right. So it's talking about breathing. Deep breathing helps you to get more oxygen in your bloodstream. So go ahead, take a deep breath.
So you take a deep breath.
And as you take those deep breaths, it helps your body to calm down. So with star breathing, they're going to breathe in. We're going to start at the top. Hold it. Now breathe out. Breathe in.
Hold it.
And breathe out. And so on. Now, I've used this with kids that don't know anything about breathing in and breathing out. I've just had my star. I keep it with me. I had my star out. I says, we're going to do 5 breaths.
Mm-hmm.
I see you're upset. I'm hoping you'll get calm. I want you to know it's okay to be upset. And I'm going to be right here with you. Tap them on the shoulder, and then we go through the breathing. Anybody do this in your home?
Hi, my name is Abby. I do this, I have both toddlers and I'm in my home, and then I'm an early childhood special ed teacher as well. And the one thing I'll say about this is that I think it's like beneficial to do with kids, not only to add to their toolbox on calming down, but I find when you do it next to them, like when behaviors are happening or things are escalating, like it calms you down too. So it's almost
Yeah.
like this beautiful, like you're modeling, but you're also like realizing that it works really well. And so, yeah, it's great both in the classroom and at home.
So I'm so glad that you shared that, because sometimes we think that, you know, the kids don't really understand it, but they do, especially when you're the example. So go ahead and try it. I hope it works.
I also think as a parent, and I can't speak as an educator, it may very much be the same for you, but when kids are escalating, it does sometimes make us escalate, right? And I can imagine if you're in a classroom and you have a bunch of other children, that may be even more stressful than a parent who only has the one or maybe another. Of course, the parent may be in the middle of a grocery store or some other environment, but I think we sometimes miss how we're feeling. And how we're feeling really matters to that interaction. So that's a really great observation.
Yes, Nitza and I were talking about it because sometimes within our cultural and the way that we were raised, things are like a trigger for us. So if the child is falling out in the grocery store, that may be one of those things that just sets you in a certain mood. And you're like, oh my goodness, everybody's looking at me. So when you have a strategy that not only works for your child, but works for you, that can help you be a positive model for your child. You can just say, let's wait, let's calm down. We're going to get out our star, or we're going to count to 5, whatever it is, so that you yourself can calm yourself, regulate yourself, so that you're not practicing any kind of verbal violence or, you know, we just want to be calm and pleasant with our kids so that they know there's a different way to solve a problem. There's a different way to navigate our feelings. And I grew up in a time where kids were seen and not heard. My goodness, I have to fight that all the time because the little 5-year-old talks a lot. A lot nowadays. But I'm just learning. Okay, this is not the 60s, it's not the 70s. This is the 2021s. We want our kids to have a voice. Right. And we want to listen to them, and we want to teach them how to take turns in conversations and all those other things.
That's great.
I want to show you some other examples, and then we're going to have question and answer. This is the website that you can click on, and then it has activities that you can do with children's books with your child. There are so many wonderful things out there on the Vanderbilt website.
Yes.
And they come in multiple languages.
And Paquita, the backpack connections that you shared earlier, are they on the Pyramid site or on the Vanderbilt site?
They're both. They're in both places.
Okay.
But in the Pyramid side, if you just
you were gonna walk them through that, Nitza?
Yeah, but I'm not, like, my thing is just
okay. So let me go click and you talk through.
Like in the resource library, James, so if you don't mind, like putting that up in your website, like you'll see when Paquita shows it, that they could also put it in other languages. It actually says like Spanish or English.
Oh, goodness.
It's not coming up.
What? Just give me a sec.
Okay.
It's probably on the next page because I had a lot of. We have several pages of. So I'm pulling it up now.
Okay, because mine is not.
So I'm going to share. There you go. So here's the pyramid model website that has a resource library.
Mhm.
So we can go into categories. We can.
So you can click on the family engagement one.
And then there's languages. I'm going to click on a language. See?
Oh, okay, so they have more than one. So Spanish, Turkish, Somali.
I think they have everything in Spanish, but I don't think they have everything in all the other languages.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think so, yeah.
that's fine.
So look what comes up. There's a relaxation thermometer, and all these things can be downloaded. I tried to play around with printing them at Walgreens, but that didn't quite work.
No, you have to print them like a staples.
But even if you just click on it on your tablet with a child or your cell phone, you know, I'm going to put this link right here in the chat. I'm learning that with these high-powered phones that we have, you can do a lot.
That's true.
It's amazing. It's a great tool right in your hand. And I believe that you can get to the pyramid site through CPAC, probably through SERC, through the Office of Early Childhood.
Okay.
You know, but it's easiest to just go to the challenging behavior. If you do challengingbehavior.org, it will actually get you there also.
Right. And you'll see it like where it says like in Spanish. So Paquita, can you just show the Spanish go down, for example? So you'll see, señora Marta, ve que dice Spanish. So esa está en español. So anything that's in Spanish, like the solution kit, everything in there, and you know, and it's they're very professionally done, the translation, so it's very good and easy to understand.
I hope that you could see me clicking.
Yeah, but
I want you to see the pictures.
Yeah.
Can you see the pictures?
Yep.
Yes.
And you know, you can use your phone, you can use a tablet,
Mm-hmm.
and go through these with your child.
And you could do it in both languages, you know, even if you are not a Spanish speaker, you can still do that because it's already in Spanish and English. So you could just use both words.
Gary, if you're asking to view the recording of what we're doing tonight, it will be posted on Facebook on YouTube once it's edited. So usually takes maybe about a week, and you just go to the CPAC YouTube channel.
Okay, so I guess it's time for some questions. How much time do we have, Jane?
Well, we started a little bit late. It's 6:58, so I'd say we've got time as long as you guys are available to stay. I don't know if folks have questions. We do have a couple of quick evaluations we want to make sure we post. If you guys want to put your link in the chat, we can talk while people are doing that. Does anybody have any specific questions, thoughts? Abby, I'm kind of curious if you knew about all these resources from the pyramid before.
I have heard of Pyramid before. I actually just moved to Connecticut from Colorado, and that's kind of where Pyramid was. If I understand the history of it well, I think it started in Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm right on that.
Yeah, you're right.
So I knew in Denver there was specific pyramid sites, and I went to grad school there, so it was talked about. But I feel like there's been some new resources presented that I think it's developed over time. So this was incredibly helpful.
Good. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and Connecticut has a state leadership team, and we have implementation programs throughout the state, and more will be coming on board. So there is a desire to spread the different practices. so that it becomes more well used throughout the state.
Awesome.
And you could go on the OEC website, I believe, if you want more information.
And that's the Office of Early Childhood for people who don't know.
Mhm.
Or just to challengeandbehavior.org, where there's tons of resources. But you're saying the OEC will talk more about the state effort.
Yes, the
what we're
Office of
doing.
Early Childhood. Lisa, is Lisa still on?
No, she's gone.
Well, you know, we've been working on the website. Is that up and going for the Pyramid Consortium?
I'm not sure how it is up and running, but I'm not sure how comprehensive.
Okay.
You know, if they've gotten everything loaded up there. Were you guys able to put your
Yes,
eval?
I
Okay,
put
so
a link in there. Click on that link and use code 0038. But we're happy to piggyback off of your eval too, if they don't do
okay,
it.
great. And it looks like we lost Nitza. Oh, there she is. I didn't know if she wanted to see if Martha had any questions.
Any questions?
Sorry.
Hi, Nitza. I was wondering if you wanted to ask Martha if she had any questions we could help her with.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. I lost internet. Marta, señora Marta, ¿tiene alguna pregunta? La puede hacer en español.
She's muted.
Tiene que sacarle que no se oye. Ahora se
Le
oye.
digo que todo está bien, justo como va lento la interpretación, pero estoy
Ajá.
terminando de leer, pero muy interesante todo. Por ahora, bien,
So she
gracias.
doesn't have no questions as of right now because of the lag in time. It's delayed. The closed caption is delayed. So she's still reading.
Okay, thanks. And for everyone's knowledge, as I said before, this will be on the YouTube channel for CPAC. And in that, you can choose a variety of languages to play it in, and you will get captioning there as well. So,
¿Está bien?
did somebody say something? Okay. So that being said, thank you, Nitza and Paquita, for putting all this together and being here for us on this lovely Thursday rainy night. We really appreciate you. Gary's giving us a nice little hand. Thank you. And you will find that there are lots of people that will watch this in the recording. And so thanks from them to you for doing this for CPAC tonight. We really appreciate it. And thanks to you guys for joining us.
We're so grateful to be here. Thank you all for sharing your evening with us.
Thank you. Gracias.
Good
Take
night.
care. Thanks, Jane.